Welcome back to Low Expectations in Public Education. And hopefully earlier today you received your invite to the big meeting for RSU 222, the members of the public to go to the Heyman Academy Gymnasium, where the board will be presenting their budget by each warrant item. You get to vote on each one. There will be a discussion there, hopefully. And then it'll prepare for next Tuesday, where we all get to show up at our respective voting places and vote on the budget for each one of our four communities. This is the second in a series we're calling Mythbusters, and to see the first, I just go to Low Expectations, publiceducation.com, and you can see it there. Part two, we're actually going to cover a couple of different items. One, starting off with financial transparency. Back in 2017, it was posted on the website under communications, a document that gave some opinions of our superintendent's view on how things work. But this was in there. What is RSU 22 doing to promote financial transparency? And you'll see the first line by line budget reports are posted on the district website. That is no longer happening. Cost center budget documents posted to show how costs have increased or decreased. Well, if you look at this in 2018, down here at the bottom, you see full year 18 information. You only see 3 links, but this one right here, full year detailed budget for full year 18, line by line. That is actually the most helpful document you could have to understand how we spend our money here in RSU 22. You'll see above it in 19, there's a lot more information here, but that document's not there, so you get the kind of what they pick and choose to give to you. And then in 2020, you find we have no actuals. It's just full year 19 compared with full year 2020. There's nice videos and what have you, but really nothing that would give you any idea of how the money was actually spent. We're just talking about budget. So why would this be important? Well, let's look at what they are producing, and that is this. They'll give you a summary sheet. So for all of our Article 5 student staff support, they're asking for over looks like $2.8 million. And you see these summaries here. If you want to see the accuracy of how these numbers were probably produced, once again, you can go to our blog, and you can see any of our 6 entries around fund accounting. And where we cover everything from the $3.9 million in contingency spending over an 8-month period, creative uses of the minor capital reserve fund, very creative uses of stipends. You can also see auto repair as facilities and maintenance, apparently, and you go back there, but feel free to go and browse along within that. But what did they show us before that would be more helpful? Well, that same information, that summary that took less than 1 page, here's what it looked like on the line by line. It's 16 pages. For Article 5. 16 pages. Great information here. So if you want to see how we actually expend our money compared to how it's budgeted, and you actually want to see how our district is managed financially, this is really what you're looking for. But apparently the decision has been made not to give us that. We'll just give the information they want. Well, the next myth that we want to cover with financial transparency is that the information they give you is accurate or gives you an accurate picture of what goes into the budget. So if we look at this one, you'll see on March 26th, this was presented, updated on April the 19th, when you look at the full year 19 budget and 20 proposed, right? No actuals here. And you see I have a big circle here around the salaries for superintendent, assistant superintendent, and you see the numbers, 227 they're asking for full year 20, which is a $20,000 increase over the year before. Our superintendent can't get a raise, so looks like that's going to be for the assistant. But is that really an accurate picture of how much is budgeted for salary? No. If you look down here, and this actually comes from a line-by-line report, you'll see there's a whole separate line for salaries for assistant superintendent, which tacks on another $60,000 to $70,000 a year, which would bring the ask for full year 18 was actually $281,000, not $211,000. Knowing our superintendent's capped at $124,500, I believe it is, that leaves our assistant superintendent at the time making somewhere between $150,000 and $160,000 pure salary. There are other line items for benefits and retirement, all that good stuff. That doesn't make any sense. Well, if you want to try to kind of piece together what would make more sense, we also have an entry at Low Expectations in publiceducation.com, which has to do with, is someone overpaying themselves, which gives you a kind of insight into how maybe some extra money is being given to someone. Now, next, we also want to continue on our myth busting around where our focus is. And we're going to take a look at those in our school that have the most need and those that should have the least. Now, remember, system administration in almost any administrative category, really, in any company, any industry, anywhere, is being cut. Over the last 3 or 4 years, we probably should have cut our system administration by about 50%, but instead, we actually continue to grow it. And if you look on the left, this is system administration over the last 5 years. Total budget of $3.8 million, spent almost $4.4 million. So we overspent by over $500,000 from what was originally budgeted. Here, one neat item is 1 year, the board stipends went up to 10 grand from an average of about 6,500. Wonder who got the extra money. Now, if you look to the right over here, you're going to see with special education, the same time frame, we did budget more. I mean, $24.4 million. We only spent 23.9 or so. So we actually underspent by over $550,000. $550,000 withheld from our students that have the most needs within our district. It is unfathomable to me here, and special education should be pretty close to $1 from what you budget and spend, but apparently not in our district. And you see there's a couple of years here where we're over $200,000 and or just close to $200,000 in those expenditures. So you might think, well, this doesn't make any sense. Well, this next picture, which I couldn't believe when I first saw it, really might give you some insight into our attitude from our board or some of our board members regarding rules, policies, laws, and also focus when it comes to this and what we think. So when you look at this next one, I've tried to take away all the identifying marks, but apparently this board member thought that this sign meant reserved for board members. I think we all know what this sign means, but once again, you couldn't make this up. But it gives you a little bit of insight towards the attitude for those who may be disabled or have additional needs, and whether or not these actual rules pertain to some of those members. So hopefully you found this helpful. If nothing else, please do show up next Tuesday and vote on the budget. I'm not going to tell you which way to vote. That's not for me to do. But hopefully you spend a little time at our blog and educate yourself on how our finances are managed. And until next time, thank you very much for joining.